What if I told you that 3 simple foods sitting in your kitchen right now could be your brain's greatest defense against Alzheimer's disease? And what if the latest research shows that people who eat these foods regularly have up to 53% lower risk of developing dementia? Stay with me for the next few minutes, because what I'm about to share could literally change the trajectory of your golden years. And today we're diving deep into the science-backed foods that can help keep your mind sharp, your memories intact, and your independence strong well into your 80s, 90s, and beyond. If you're watching this video, chances are you're in your 50s, 60s, or beyond, and you're thinking about your brain health. Maybe you've noticed you're forgetting names more often, misplacing your keys, or struggling to remember what you walked into a room for. Or perhaps you've watched a loved one battle dementia, and you're determined not to let that be your story. Here's the truth that the medical community is finally starting to embrace. Alzheimer's disease isn't just about genetics. It's not an inevitable part of aging. In fact, lifestyle factors, especially what we eat, play a massive role in determining whether our brains stay healthy and sharp as we age. Today, I'm going to share with you 3 powerhouse foods that leading neurologists and brain researchers are calling brain insurance. These aren't exotic superfoods that cost a fortune. These are accessible, delicious foods that you can start eating today to begin protecting your brain immediately. But before we dive in, let me share a startling statistic with you. Every 65 seconds, someone in America develops Alzheimer's disease. By 2050, that number is projected to nearly triple. But here's the hopeful part. Recent studies show that up to 40% of dementia cases could be prevented through lifestyle changes, with diet playing the starring role. Let me take a moment to explain what's actually happening in your brain when Alzheimer's develops, because understanding this will help you appreciate why these 3 foods are so powerful. Alzheimer's disease is characterized by the buildup of 2 main culprits in the brain: amyloid plaques and tau tangles. Think of amyloid plaques like rust that accumulates on the connections between your brain cells, disrupting communication. Tau tangles are like roadblocks that prevent nutrients from flowing properly within brain cells. But here's what's exciting. Your brain has natural defense mechanisms against these threats. Your brain can actually clear away these harmful proteins and repair damaged connections if you give it the right tools. And those tools come primarily from the foods you eat every single day. The foods I'm about to share with you work in 3 critical ways. First, they provide powerful antioxidants that neutralize the free radicals that damage brain cells. Second, they reduce chronic inflammation, which is like a slow-burning fire in your brain that accelerates aging. And third, they support the production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF, which is like Miracle-Gro for your brain cells. Now, you might be thinking, I've heard about brain-healthy foods before: blueberries, fish, nuts. And you're right, these are all important. But the 3 foods I'm sharing today go beyond the usual suspects. These are foods that recent cutting-edge research has identified as having the most dramatic protective effects against Alzheimer's disease. The first food that deserves a permanent place on your table is extra virgin olive oil. Now, I'm not talking about the refined olive oil you might cook with occasionally. I'm talking about high-quality, cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil that you use generously every single day. Here's why this golden liquid is being called liquid gold for your brain. Extra virgin olive oil contains a compound called oleocanthal, which has the same anti-inflammatory properties as ibuprofen, but without the side effects. In fact, just 3.5 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil provide the same anti-inflammatory benefit as 10% of an adult dose of ibuprofen. But the brain benefits go much deeper. A groundbreaking study published in the journal Annals of Clinical and Translational Neurology followed over 90,000 people for 28 years. The results were remarkable. Those who consumed more than half a tablespoon of olive oil daily had a 28% lower risk of dying from dementia-related causes. Even more impressive, a recent study from Temple University showed that extra virgin olive oil actually helps clear amyloid plaques from the brain. Researchers found that mice fed a diet rich in extra virgin olive oil had dramatically reduced amyloid deposits and better memory function. Dr. Domenico Pratico, the lead researcher, explained it this way. We found that olive oil reduces brain inflammation but most importantly activates a process known as autophagy. This is like a garbage disposal system that clears away the toxic proteins that cause Alzheimer's disease. But not all olive oils are created equal. Here's what you need to know to get the maximum brain benefits. First, always choose extra virgin olive oil. The extra virgin designation means the oil was extracted using only mechanical means, without heat or chemicals. This preserves the beneficial compounds that protect your brain. Second, look for oil that comes in a dark glass bottle or tin container. Light breaks down the beneficial compounds, so avoid anything in clear plastic or glass. Third, check the harvest date. Olive oil is best consumed within 2 years of harvest, and the fresher, the better for maximum antioxidant content. Fourth, taste matters. Good extra virgin olive oil should have a peppery bite to it. That slight burning sensation in your throat is actually the oleocanthal working. That's the compound that fights inflammation in your brain. Now, how should you use olive oil for maximum brain benefit? Here are my top recommendations. Start your day by taking a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil on an empty stomach. I know this might sound unusual, but many Mediterranean cultures do this, and the research shows this is one of the most effective ways to get the anti-inflammatory compounds into your system. Use olive oil as your primary cooking fat for low to medium heat cooking. While you don't want to heat it to smoking point, contrary to popular belief, good quality extra virgin olive oil is stable enough for most home cooking. Drizzle it generously over salads, vegetables, and cooked dishes. The Mediterranean diet, which is associated with significantly lower rates of Alzheimer's, typically includes 3 to 4 tablespoons of olive oil per day. Make it into a brain-boosting salad dressing by combining olive oil with lemon juice, garlic, and herbs. This combination not only tastes amazing but provides multiple brain protective compounds. One word of caution, olive oil is calorie-dense, with about 120 calories per tablespoon. But don't let this scare you away. These are healthy calories that your brain desperately needs, and studies consistently show that people who consume olive oil regularly tend to have healthier body weights, not higher ones. The second food that should be on your plate at least twice a week is wild-caught fatty fish. Now, when I say fatty fish, I'm talking about salmon, sardines, mackerel, anchovies, and herring fish that are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, particularly DHA and EPA. Your brain is about 60% fat, and a significant portion of that is DHA. Think of DHA as the building blocks of your brain cells. Without adequate DHA, your brain literally can't function optimally or repair itself effectively. Here's what the research tells us. A study published in the journal Neurology followed over 1,000 women for 8 years. Those with the highest levels of omega-3s in their blood had brains that were 2 years younger than those with the lowest levels. 2 years younger? That's like having a time machine for your brain. But the benefits go beyond just slowing aging. Dr. Marwan Sabah, a leading Alzheimer's researcher at the Cleveland Clinic, published a study showing that people with higher DHA levels had 47% lower risk of developing dementia and 39% lower risk of Alzheimer's disease. The mechanism is fascinating. DHA does several critical things for your brain. First, it maintains the fluidity of brain cell membranes, allowing nutrients to flow in and waste products to flow out efficiently. Second, it promotes the growth of new brain cells and connections between them. Third, it reduces inflammation throughout the brain. And fourth, it helps clear away the toxic amyloid proteins that cause Alzheimer's. But here's the crucial part. Not all fish are created equal when it comes to brain health. You want to focus on wild-caught fatty fish, not farmed fish or lean fish. Here's why. Wild-caught fatty fish have much higher levels of omega-3s compared to their farmed counterparts. Farmed salmon, for example, can have 50% less omega-3s than wild salmon. Additionally, wild fish have a better ratio of omega-3 to omega-6 fatty acids, which is important for controlling inflammation. The best choices for brain health are salmon, particularly wild Alaskan salmon. Look for sockeye, king, or coho varieties. These have the highest DHA content and are also lower in mercury. Sardines, these small fish are powerhouses of omega-3s and are very low in mercury. They're also one of the most sustainable fish choices and are typically very affordable. Mackerel, specifically Atlantic mackerel. This fish has one of the highest concentrations of DHA of any fish, but avoid king mackerel, which is high in mercury. Anchovies, don't let their strong flavor scare you away. They're incredibly rich in omega-3s and can be added to many dishes for a brain boost. Herring, another excellent source of omega-3s that's often overlooked in American diets. Now, if you're concerned about mercury, here's what you need to know. The fish I've mentioned are all relatively low in mercury, especially compared to large predator fish like shark, swordfish, and large tuna. The brain benefits of eating these fish far outweigh the minimal mercury risk for most people. How much should you eat? The research suggests that eating fatty fish twice a week provides optimal brain benefits. That's about 6 to 8 ounces per week. If you're not used to eating fish, start with once a week and gradually increase. But what if you don't like fish or can't eat it regularly? While I always prefer getting nutrients from whole foods, a high-quality fish oil supplement can be beneficial. Look for a supplement that provides at least 1,000 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA daily. Make sure it's been tested for purity and mercury content. Here are some practical ways to incorporate more brain-boosting fish into your diet. Try canned sardines or salmon. These are convenient, affordable, and just as nutritious as fresh fish. Mix them into salads, make fish cakes, or eat them on whole grain crackers. Experiment with different cooking methods. If you think you don't like fish, it might be because it was overcooked or not seasoned well. Try baking salmon with herbs, grilling sardines with lemon, or making a simple mackerel pate. Start with milder fish. If strong fishy flavors put you off, begin with wild salmon or canned salmon, which tend to be milder than sardines or mackerel. Make fish the star of your meal twice a week. Plan your weekly meals around fish, just like you might plan around chicken or beef. Remember, this isn't just about preventing Alzheimer's. People who eat fish regularly also have lower rates of depression, better memory function, and slower cognitive decline as they age. The third food group that can dramatically protect your brain is leafy green vegetables. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Here we go with the vegetables again. But hear me out, because the research on leafy greens and brain health is absolutely remarkable. A groundbreaking study from Rush University followed nearly 1,000 people for an average of 5 years carefully tracking their diets and testing their cognitive function. The results were stunning. People who ate just one serving of leafy green vegetables per day had brains that functioned as if they were 11 years younger than people who rarely ate leafy greens. 11 years younger. That's not a small difference. That's the difference between having the mental sharpness of a 65-year-old versus a 76-year-old. Dr. Martha Claire Morris, who led this study, said, "Adding a daily serving of green leafy vegetables to your diet may be a simple way to foster brain health. Leafy greens are packed with nutrients linked to better cognitive function." But what makes leafy greens so powerful for brain health? It comes down to several key compounds. First, they're loaded with folate, a B vitamin that's crucial for brain function. Folate helps produce neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers that allow brain cells to communicate. Low folate levels are associated with depression, memory problems, and increased risk of dementia. Second, leafy greens are rich in vitamin K, which is essential for cognitive function. Most people think of vitamin K only for bone health, but it's equally important for brain health. Vitamin K helps produce sphingolipids, which are fats that are abundant in brain cell membranes. Third, they contain lutein, the same compound that protects your eyes from damage. Recent research has shown that lutein also accumulates in brain tissue, where it acts as a powerful antioxidant, protecting brain cells from damage. Fourth, leafy greens are rich in nitrates, which help improve blood flow to the brain. Better blood flow means more oxygen and nutrients reaching your brain cells, and more efficient removal of waste products. And finally, they're packed with antioxidants like beta-carotene and vitamin C, which neutralize the free radicals that can damage brain cells. The best leafy greens for brain health include spinach. This is probably the most nutrient-dense leafy green. It's particularly high in folate, vitamin K, and lutein. 1 cup of cooked spinach provides more than 100% of your daily vitamin K needs. Kale, often called a superfood, kale is incredibly rich in antioxidants and vitamin K. It also contains compounds called glucosinolates, which have anti-inflammatory properties. Arugula. This peppery green is rich in nitrates, which help improve blood flow to the brain. It also contains unique compounds called isothiocyanates, which may help protect against cognitive decline. Swiss chard. This colorful green is high in magnesium, which is important for brain function and may help protect against Alzheimer's disease. Collard greens, popular in Southern cooking, collard greens are extremely rich in vitamin K and folate. They're also a good source of choline, which is important for memory and cognitive function. Romaine lettuce. While not as nutrient-dense as the others, romaine is still a good source of folate and is easy to incorporate into daily meals through salads. Now, here's the key. To get the maximum brain benefits, you need to eat leafy greens consistently, not just occasionally. The Rush University study found that the people with the youngest functioning brains were eating about 1.3 servings of leafy greens daily. What counts as a serving? 1 cup of raw greens or half a cup of cooked greens. That might sound like a lot if you're not used to eating vegetables, but it's actually quite manageable once you develop some strategies. Here are my top recommendations for getting more leafy greens into your diet. Start your day with greens. Add a handful of spinach to your morning smoothie. You won't taste it, but you'll get a powerful brain boost to start your day. You can also make scrambled eggs with spinach or add greens to an omelet. Make salads your main course, not a side dish. Instead of thinking of salad as something you eat before your meal, make it the foundation of your meal. Start with a base of mixed greens, then add protein, healthy fats, and other vegetables. Try the stealth method. Finely chop leafy greens and add them to soups, stews, pasta sauces, and casseroles. You'll barely notice they're there, but you'll get all the brain benefits. Experiment with different preparation methods. If you don't like raw greens, try sautéing them with garlic and olive oil. If you don't like cooked greens, try massaging raw kale with olive oil and lemon juice to soften it. Make green smoothies. Blend leafy greens with fruits like berries, banana, and apple. The fruit will mask any bitter taste while you get concentrated nutrition. Try green juices. If you have a juicer, green vegetable juices can be an efficient way to get multiple servings of leafy greens. Just be sure to include some vegetables along with fruits to keep the sugar content reasonable. Keep pre-washed greens on hand. Having clean, ready-to-eat greens in your refrigerator removes the barrier of preparation time. One important note about preparing leafy greens: some nutrients are better absorbed when the greens are cooked, while others are better absorbed raw. For maximum benefit, try to include both raw and cooked greens in your diet. Also, pairing leafy greens with healthy fats like olive oil, avocado, or nuts helps your body absorb fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin K and the carotenoids. Now, here's what makes this approach so powerful. These three foods work synergistically. That means the combined effect is greater than the sum of their individual parts. When you combine the anti-inflammatory oleocanthal from olive oil with the omega-3s from fish and the folate and antioxidants from leafy greens, you create a powerful defense system for your brain. The olive oil helps your body absorb the fat-soluble vitamins from the greens. The omega-3s from fish enhance the anti-inflammatory effects of the olive oil, and the folate from greens supports the brain cell membrane health that omega-3s promote. This is exactly what happens in the Mediterranean diet, which has been shown in numerous studies to significantly reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease and cognitive decline. But you don't have to completely overhaul your diet overnight. Start by incorporating these three foods consistently, and you'll be well on your way to better brain health. Let me give you a simple, practical plan for incorporating these three brain-protective foods into your daily routine. Week 1 to 2, start with olive oil. Begin using extra virgin olive oil as your primary fat. Replace butter, margarine, and other cooking oils with olive oil. Start your day with a tablespoon on an empty stomach if you can tolerate it. Week 3 to 4, add fatty fish. Plan to eat fatty fish twice a week. If you're new to eating fish, start with milder options like wild salmon. Try different preparation methods to find what you enjoy. Week 5 to 6, incorporate daily greens. Add 1 serving of leafy greens to your daily routine. Start with whatever method feels most manageable: smoothies, salads, or cooked greens. Week 7 and beyond, optimize and maintain. Fine-tune your approach. Experiment with new recipes, try different types of fish and greens, and find the routine that works best for your lifestyle. Remember, consistency is more important than perfection. It's better to eat these foods regularly in moderate amounts than to have them occasionally in large amounts. As we age, our brains face increasing challenges. But armed with the right knowledge and the right foods, we can significantly stack the odds in our favor. The three foods we've discussed today, extra virgin olive oil, wild-caught fatty fish, and leafy green vegetables, aren't just foods, they're medicine for your brain. The research is clear. People who regularly consume these foods have sharper minds, better memories, and significantly lower risk of Alzheimer's disease and dementia. But the benefits go beyond just preventing disease. These foods can help you think more clearly, remember more easily, and maintain your cognitive independence as you age. Your brain health journey starts with your next meal. You have the power to protect your mind, preserve your memories, and maintain your mental sharpness well into your golden years. The choice is yours, and the time to start is now. Thank you for watching, and here's to your brain health and a future filled with clear thinking and precious memories. Now, click on the screen and check out my video about the 10 vegetables that make your glucose levels plummet and end diabetes.